When you talk about the greatest engineers in Formula One history, the fastest cars, Adrian Newey's name will never be far away. Widely considered one of the best, if not the best, F1 car designers in the sport's long and storied history. Without him, perhaps none of these drivers would ever have been as successful. But how did Newey get to the top of the Formula One ladder? Why is he such a big deal in the racing world? And what exactly has he achieved? Well, for starters, Newey has played a key role in 13 Drivers' Championships and 12 Constructors' titles over a jaw-dropping 38-year career in F1. That's a legacy most can only dream of. Newey began his career as a designer and race engineer. As a race engineer, he learned how to fine-tune cars to match a driver's style, adjusting setups to suit the unique demands of each track. This hands-on experience with drivers wasn't just about engineering, it was about people, teamwork, and squeezing the absolute best out of both machine and driver. When Newey transitioned into the role of technical director, he brought this valuable knowledge with him. Back in the 1990s, technical directors were the brains behind the car's design. It was a different era, before massive design teams and lawyers of middle management, when one brilliant designer could truly make a difference. And Newey? He was the difference maker. In fact, his influence is so significant that when he leaves, teams have historically been shown to struggle. Williams, for example, snagged a title the year after he left with a car he designed, but they haven't won a driver's title since. McLaren? It took them 3 years to win another title after Newey's exit, and they haven't won one since. And now, with his departure from Red Bull, there's speculation that history might be repeating itself. Every major F1 team has tried to lure Newey at some point. Ferrari has tried 3 times and failed, so he's certainly what he's made out to be. Newey's career kicked off with Fittipaldi, known as Coupe Succar, thanks to its sponsor, and later in 1981 he joined chassis builder March. Newey's talent quickly became apparent as he designed successful cars for kart, IndyCars, and IMSA, America's premier sports car series. During this time, he developed a strong bond with Indy 500 winner Bobby Rahal, and he even turned down a chance to become the technical director of Ferrari's ill-fated IndyCar project, a rejection that would be the first of 3 times he would turn down the iconic team. After a brief return to Formula One with the short-lived Haas-Lola team in 1986, Newey spent a year working with Newman Haas and racing legend Mario Andretti in kart. But by 1988 he was back in F1 with March, which would soon transform into Leighton House. However, in mid-1990, just days before one of his final designs nearly won the French Grand Prix, Newey left the team. His next stop? Williams, after being approached by Patrick Head. This move led to Williams becoming one of Formula One's dominant teams. Just like Williams' unstoppable rise, we're here to bring you top-tier content every time. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you subscribe, will you? By 1992, the English outfit was on top of the world, clinching both the Constructors' and Drivers' Championships, with Nigel Mansell behind the wheel of the iconic FW14B. Teammate Riccardo Patrese followed closely behind, making it a Williams 1-2 as they claimed an astonishing 10 victories out of 16 races. The momentum carried into 1993. Williams snagged their 2nd consecutive Constructors' title, with Alain Prost winning his 4th and final Drivers' Championship in the FW15C. Damon Hill finished 3rd, further cementing the team's dominance. The following year, Williams kept the pressure on, but the title slipped away from Hill by just 1 point to Michael Schumacher. Despite the heartbreak, the FW16 still delivered another Constructors' crown. However, 1994 would be marked by tragedy. Ayrton Senna's fatal crash at the San Marino Grand Prix in the FW16 left a deep scar on the sport. Newey, along with other team members, faced manslaughter accusations. Though acquitted in 1997 and again in 1999, the case reopened in 2003 before being finally closed in 2005. The official cause of the crash was linked to material errors, but the tragedy still weighs heavily on Newey's mind. In his biography, Newey said, "What I feel the most guilt about, though, is not the possibility that the steering column failure may have caused the accident, because I don't think it did, but the fact that I screwed up the aerodynamics of the car. I messed up the transition from active suspension in 1993 back to passive and designed a car that was aerodynamically unstable, in which Ayrton attempted to do things the car was not capable of doing." Despite that nightmare, Williams found their stride again in 1996, dominating the Constructors' Championship and scoring twice as many points as runner-up Ferrari. Damon Hill reclaimed his championship, with Jacques Villeneuve close behind in second. The following year, the FW19 continued the team's supremacy, with Villeneuve taking the driver's title and Heinz-Harald Frentzen securing second place. However, things would soon turn sour for Williams. When they decided to replace Damon Hill with Heinz-Harald Frentzen for the 1997 season, it didn't sit well with Adrian Newey. In fact, it prompted him to resign, citing a breach of contract since he was supposed to be consulted on major team decisions. That was the tipping point for Newey, and he soon made the move to McLaren. By the summer of 1997, Newey was hard at work at McLaren, and it didn't take long for his magic to show. His 1998 creation, the McLaren MP413, brought home both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, with Mika Hakkinen taking the driver's title. Hakkinen followed it up with another championship win in 1999 and came close again in 2000. But then Ferrari, with Michael Schumacher at the wheel, kicked off an era of dominance that saw them take control of Formula One for years. By the time Renault dethroned Ferrari in 2005, Newey was ready for a change. His frustration with the changes at McLaren, especially after his near defection to Jaguar in 2001, had left him feeling stifled. The Matrix team structure at McLaren made him feel powerless as technical director, with major decisions even outvoting him. It was time for something new. Enter Red Bull in 2006. Newey joined the team, intrigued by the opportunity to help transform them from a scrappy midfield contender into a genuine F1 powerhouse. For him, it felt like a chance to finish the business he had started at Leighton House years before. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but Red Bull's first win came in 2009. Interestingly, a car Newey designed had already won the previous year, when Sebastian Vettel took victory for Red Bull's sister team, Toro Rosso. Then in 2010, Red Bull's meteoric rise began. They dominated the sport with 4 consecutive Drivers' and Constructors' Championships led by Vettel. But when F1 entered its hybrid era in 2014, Mercedes took over, leaving Red Bull in the shadows. Much of Red Bull's struggles during this period were due to Renault's underwhelming engine performance, and Newey found himself being courted by Ferrari and Mercedes. Despite the temptations, he stayed with Red Bull, though his involvement in F1 fluctuated in the following years. It wasn't until 2021 that Red Bull truly returned as a title threat, and by 2022, under the new ground effect regulations, they were back on top. Red Bull went on to win both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, with many calling the 2023 RB19 one of the greatest F1 cars ever, winning 21 out of 22 races that season. While Newey isn't solely responsible for Red Bull's success these days, designing an F1 car is much more of a team effort. He's still been a crucial part of the key decisions shaping Red Bull's dominance in this new era. Outside of Formula One, Newey has a passion for classic car racing and has even raced contemporary cars at Le Mans in 2007. He also branched out into yacht design, helping create an America's Cup yacht that reached the semi-finals of the competition in 2017. These days, Newey is gearing up for a fresh challenge in 2025, set to join Aston Martin after parting ways with Red Bull. The 65-year-old's exit as Chief Technical Officer was confirmed in May, following rumours of a falling out with team principal Christian Horner. The Englishman is now turning his focus to Aston Martin, where he'll be working alongside two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. His influence is expected to be pretty significant in shaping their 2026 car, just in time for the new technical regulations that will shake up the sport. Aston Martin have struggled lately, but if Newey is on board, the future is looking a lot brighter. In 2026, they'll partner with Honda for their power units, and Alonso has already voiced his belief that Aston Martin has the best project for the future. With Newey on board, is Aston Martin going to be the next dominant force in Formula One? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Formula Royale for the best F1 content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.